Listen to me, I'm talking. I'm assuming you graduated from high school, right?
8th grade.
You went through 8th grade.
If there's evidence provided against me, I have a right to defend myself using that very same evidence.
That wasn't the question I asked you.
You
do have a right to defend yourself, Mr. Raymer. I'm just
my right for violence.
I'm talking, you're not. If you don't stop talking and listen to me so I can go through my speech, I will send you over to the jail.
You're the one that signed the warrant for my arrest while I was in jail.
I don't know that. I don't remember.
Yes, you did do that.
Okay. I'm allowed to do that.
No, you violated my rights.
Okay.
I'm not going to take any of the attorneys from here because they're all corrupt.
This guy's staring down 4 years in prison and somehow convinced himself he could handle it soloed. He's representing himself, and that's when things get absolutely wild. The judge does not tolerate nonsense, and the moment she realizes he barely made it through 8th grade, it's like watching someone bring a paper fan to a gunfight. Honestly, it's chaotic and kind of hilarious. But here's the thing, drop a comment if you think she went too far, because I already know somebody will cry about her rudeness for cutting him off. Reality check: judges don't have to babysit people who think Facebook law works in real life. So buckle up as this sovereign citizen gets dismantled piece by piece right in front of everyone in court.
In the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Shane Leroy Raymer, file number 23-21665FH. This is the date and time set for a final pretrial conference. Today was the motion deadline for both motions and motion in limines to be heard. Jury instructions were to be provided to the court by April 2nd, along with any proposed voir dire questions. We are set for trial on April 22nd of 2025. Mr. Raymer, you are charged with police officer resisting and obstructing causing injury, which carries a maximum penalty of up to 4 years in prison. Police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing, that carries up to 2 years in prison. There's 2 of those. And then there's a disorderly. And what is the plea offer in this file?
Your Honor, the people have offered to a plea of 2 counts to attempted R&O.
All right.
So 2 misdemeanors, and we would kill a brute to no upfront jail.
All right. Mr. Raymer, the plea offer in this case was to plead to 2 one-year misdemeanors with no upfront jail, and there'd be like 12 months or so of probation, some minimal fines and costs. Do you understand that? All right. Now, Mr. Raymer, you know, I'm assuming you graduated from high school, right?
8th grade.
You went through 8th grade, and this is a felony that could result in you going to prison. Why don't you stand in front of that podium for me? So do you understand an attorney can help guide you through the legal process?
Yes, I tried to have, I almost had a public defender. Unfortunately, she wasn't representing me appropriately. I had asked for another one, but.
So I have no authority over who gets appointed. You're appointed an attorney.
I understand that, but when they're not representing you appropriately.
Okay, I didn't ask that. I'm just saying you have a right to an attorney. I know the attorney you're referring to. She's diligent. She works hard. Maybe you didn't like, I know when I was a public defender, sometimes my clients didn't like what listen to me, I'm talking. My clients didn't like the things that I told them. But, you know, her job isn't to do what you want. Her job is to represent the law. So you understand at this point, you can hire an attorney, or you can go with the public defender and whoever they assign you, or you can go to trial pro per with no law degree, no experience, and risk going to prison. You're going to represent yourself.
I'm going to represent I ain't got no choice but to
Have you provided your jury question, the voir dire questions? Because if you haven't, they're waived.
If there's
no, they were due.
If there's evidence provided against me, I have a right to defend myself using that very same.
That wasn't the question I asked you.
You
do have a right to defend yourself, Mr. Raymer. I'm just
my right for violence.
I'm talking. You're not. If you don't stop talking and listen to me, so I can go through my speech, I will send you over to the jail. Do you understand?
Someone please explain this logic. This guy barely scraped past 8th grade and thinks he can spar with a judge. Like, bro, this isn't TikTok. This is real-life court. He ditched his lawyer like a bad Uber and rolled in with some Reddit DIY legal plan. I once had a friend try to defend himself for a speeding ticket thinking he could outsmart the judge with a YouTube loophole. Spoiler alert, it backfired. He paid double and lost his license. These sovereign citizens really act like saying, "I don't consent," makes them invisible to the law, but keep interrupting a judge and you'll get a contempt charge and ruin any chance at a deal just like this guy.
All right, you have not filed any motions. Jury instructions were due and voir dire questions were due. You have not provided those. We gave you a copy of this. So do you understand what I've received is what will be used? Yes or no?
I will be allowed to ask my questions.
What question?
When I'm cross-examining, I will get my,
I'm talking about juror question. I'm talking about jury instructions and voir dire questions. You understand now? You
I don't
didn't
have-
follow, listen, I know, but you waived that because you have not provided them. Do you understand that? Do you understand that?
no, I don't. I don't
Okay.
understand that. I didn't understand that.
Okay, well, I
That's why
can't advise you of the law because I'm not an attorney, I'm a judge.
No, but
So-
you're looking at the case and you've been presiding over my case for 3 years now.
I know, it's fine. You're
the one-
gonna go to
You're the one
trial.
that signed the warrant for my arrest while I was in jail.
I don't know that, I don't
Yes,
remember.
you did do that.
Okay, I'm allowed to do that.
No, you violated my rights as well.
Okay, well, you have options. You can file a complaint with the JTC if you'd like. So are you prepared to go to trial?
Absolutely.
Have you provided your witness list?
I haven't yet, but I will.
Okay, that was due.
My witness list was provided when, Ms. Underwood was my attorney.
Okay,
And my witness list is.
have you subpoenaed any witnesses that were not on the prosecutor's raised just eyewitness list?
Yes, my witnesses are the ones that was there at the scene.
No.
And
Do
yes,
you understand that you have to provide a witness list and you have to provide a copy to the prosecutor? Do you understand that?
prosecutor, I gotta provide what to him?
So if you're gonna have witnesses at trial, you need to make sure the prosecutor has their name and contact information so that they could interview them prior to trial if they wanted. Do you understand
Well,
that?
they got all that information.
They do?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so,
my witnesses are my parents and my aunt.
okay, I don't know, are those on, if they're not on the people's witness,
Curtis,
I'm not
Benny,
sure.
okay.
and Rose.
If you haven't provided a witness list and they're not on the people's list, you understand you won't be able to call them.
Okay, I will provide the information. I
Okay.
did provide that information. Yeah.
I'm just telling you. So you need to make sure that there's a witness list in the file that was provided to the people.
So I gotta re-provide it.
I don't know. Go back and look at what
I'll
witness
just-
list
I'll
has
just
been
do that
filed,
next week.
their name, their contact information, and then any subpoenas you have to do. If you have to subpoena anybody to be present, you need to get those filed this week. And then the court signs them and then you serve those people with those.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Now, do you understand when we go to trial, a lot of times some of the questions you ask or he asks may be objected to, and it's not personal, it's just, we have to follow the law.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm allowed to object to though, right?
huh?
I'm allowed to object to.
You are, and then you have to provide the basis for that objection.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need to understand your objections. So you might want to do some research to understand.
I've been doing.
Good, good. You sure you don't want a public defender for trial?
Huh?
You sure you don't want an attorney for trial?
I'm not gonna take any of the attorneys from here because they're all corrupt.
So this genius thinks every public defender is out to get him. Meanwhile, he's the same guy who barely survived 8th grade and now wants his mom, dad, and aunt on the stand like it's some kind of courtroom family talent show. Like seriously, what are they gonna say? Yeah, he's always been delusional, Your Honor. At this point, I'm just like, let him serve his time. The judge literally warned him over and over, gave him every chance, and he still blew it, like he was trying to speedrun a conviction. But hey, drop a comment on what you think about how the judge handled him. Up next, we've got another wild sovereign citizen refusing to pay rent and getting humbled fast, so buckle up.
So, Ms. Battle,
All right, the court will call the case of the Ranches of Rosebrook versus A Nice Battle, case number 25C 1245.
good afternoon, Your Honor. David Fanter on behalf of the plaintiff.
Ms. Battle, please hit star 6, unmute your device and state.
Hello? Hello?
Please state.
It's a niece battle on a special appearance for the record to contest the jurisdiction and the facts for this court.
Yep. All right. Well, Ms. Battle, I'll tell you that this matter is appropriately in the correct court. The court does have jurisdiction. We'll be
And
proceeding.
it's based on what? What is on the record that is based on that the court has jurisdiction?
The fact that this is a case that is within the jurisdiction of the Township of Ypsilanti, and if you have issues related to any contracts, that would be within this jurisdiction as well. So all of that is within the jurisdiction of this court.
So you're saying that the contract is in jurisdiction of the court?
That is what I just said, ma'am.
All right, and the contract has been rescinded. So how is the contract in the jurisdiction of the court if it's invalid?
Who gets to rescind a contract on their own? That's
What are you talking about? I have the right to rescind a contract by right of common law.
Ms. Battle,
That doesn't involve court.
ma'am, you need to stop talking or you're gonna get held in contempt of court. Mr. Fantier, have you had a chance to talk to Ms. Battle? Or talk to Ms.
You're breaking up. I can't hear you.
Mr. Fantera, do you need to speak with her or are we ready to?
If you want me to speak to her, I'll speak to her. You know, I mean, she talks about rescinding the contract. Does that mean she's moving out?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
Are you moving out?
Are you moving out?
No. Why would I have to move out?
Because if you rescind a contract, okay, fine. Your Honor, I think let's set this for trial.
Okay. One moment.
This case has also been in the, it's in the circuit court. A petition filed for an injunction. I did serve you all. It is set on the 30th.
Yes, ma'am, I heard.
We're aware.
Okay. And once again, I do not submit to the jurisdiction of the court. The contract is rescinded.
So how can the
And I am
contract,
not a legal person.
you're not a legal
How
person?
can a contract?
Somebody check on the plaintiff because he looked like he just lost 3 brain cells hearing that. And honestly, same, I don't even know how judges sit through this stuff without snapping, because if it were me, I'd probably be banging the gavel just out of pure frustration. I've heard dumb excuses before, but this one might actually take the crown. Like, how do they really think this works? I once tried getting out of a gym contract, and that took more effort than whatever she was pulling. Be real with me. Do you think these sovereign citizens actually believe this stuff? Or are they just trolling the system? Honestly, it's probably a little bit of both. Drop a comment and tell me what you think.
No, I'm not a legal person. I'm not a legal entity. No, I am not. And you have to prove that on the
Stop
record.
talking.
Actually, I don't.
I'm sorry.
Can I ask Ms. Battle a question, Your Honor, real quick?
Sure.
So, Ms. Battle, so you can live there forever without paying rent because you're not a legal person?
That's not what I'm saying, but the contract itself is invalid. I'm saying that you don't have any personal or subject matter jurisdiction over me. Over an invalid contract, no. And over me not having a legal capacity to be sued, yes. So if that's how you want to take it, then that's how you have to take it. But that's what's lawful, and that's what's written in the law.
Let me just tell you, I think you're wrong on both counts. I would expect that we would.
It's okay for you to think that I'm wrong, but the facts still align with what I'm saying.
Okay, Your Honor, I think we should have a trial.
You have to prove without the reasonable doubt. So let the record show that the judge has not required the plaintiff to prove without a reasonable doubt that I am a legal person, and it's on the record, not assumed, not presumed, on the record. There's nothing that's on the record that states.
Ms. Battle, first of all, reasonable doubt is a standard in a criminal case, not a civil case. So I do not have to prove anything beyond a reasonable doubt.
Sarah, I need both of you to stop talking, please. Both of you, I'm sorry. I cannot figure out the date because I can't hear over the two of you.
I apologize. I didn't know that's what you were doing, Your Honor.
This matter will be scheduled for May 6th at 3 p.m. for a trial on any and all issues that may be before the court. Ms. Battle, if you have anything else that you need to say, you can unmute yourself by hitting *6 to do that.
Okay, I just find it ironic that I got muted when I was speaking on jurisdiction and how there was a lack thereof on the record. So I want that to be on the record. But I also wanted to, okay, that's fine. And I also wanted to be on the record that I am not going to be able to show up on May the 6th. So it's also ironic that you are able to verify with him that he's able to show up, but not with myself.
I just asked you that, and you are now talking about something else. Why can't you do this?
That's because you cut me off and put me inside of a break room and muted my mic instead of allowing me to speak on what needs to be spoken on.
All right, this is set for May 6th at 3.
Your Honor, by Zoom? By Zoom?
Correct.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
It's ridiculous. This is a fraud upon the court. Goodbye.
I just love the entitlement here. Maybe don't sign a lease if you have zero plan to pay rent. The logic isn't even in the same zip code as us. It's out wandering some cornfield somewhere. And then you can literally hear her kids in the background, which honestly made me feel bad. Imagine growing up, hearing your mom argue in court that rent is fake and laws don't apply. Those poor kids are either gonna think they're above the law or get crushed when the real world doesn't play along. One day they'll tell a teacher they don't consent to homework and wonder why they're failing at that point. It's not even funny, it's just sad. So drop a comment. What do you guys think? Should sovereign citizens raising kids like this be considered neglect? Or am I taking it too far? Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, everybody.